You walk into a room full of strangers. Before anyone has the chance to judge you, your own brain has already judged you first. Your heart starts pounding. Your shoulders pull inward. Suddenly, you don't know what to do with your hands. Sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's not written into your DNA, and it's not reserved for a lucky few who came out of the womb charismatic. That's a myth, and it's one that has quietly convinced millions of people that they're simply not the confident type. What if I told you confidence isn't just a personality trait? It's also influenced by what's happening in your brain and nervous system. A switch in your brain and body that you can learn to flip on, almost on command. Today we're breaking down 4 psychology-backed tricks that can shift how you show up in a room, starting the moment you use them. Trick 1. Reverse engineer your body. Imagine this. 2 people walk into the exact same meeting. One quietly folds into the chair, avoiding eye contact. The other leans back, smiles, and greets the room. Before either of them says a single sentence, people have already started forming completely different impressions of them. Why does that happen? It isn't just about appearance. It's about how the brain interprets the signals your body is sending. That's where embodied cognition comes in, and it flips the way most people think about the mind and body relationship. We usually assume our thoughts control our physical state. Feel confident, stand tall. But it works both ways. Your posture doesn't just reflect how you feel. Research suggests it can also influence how you think and respond in the moment. Here's what's fascinating. Your brain is constantly asking one question: am I safe? And one of the first places it looks for the answer is your own body. When you feel threatened or anxious, your body instinctively shrinks. Shoulders round forward, arms cross over your chest, chin drops. This isn't random. It's an ancient survival response designed to protect your vital organs from attack. The problem is, your brain reads that shrinking posture as a signal that danger is present, even if the only threat in the room is small talk with a stranger. So here's the actionable part. 20 seconds before you walk into that meeting, that party, or that first date, physically claim space. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chin. Stand like you actually belong in the room, even if every cell in your body is telling you otherwise. Have you ever noticed how much smaller you feel the moment you start hunching? Research on posture and hormones suggests that expansive body positions are linked to lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and may help your nervous system shift toward a calmer state, the brain's alarm system. You're not faking confidence here. Instead of waiting to feel confident before you change your posture, try reversing the order. Sometimes your body is the fastest way to convince your brain that you're safe enough to show up fully. Trick 2. Defeat the spotlight effect. A few years ago, I walked into a networking event where I didn't know a single person. Within seconds, I convinced myself everyone could tell how uncomfortable I was. I kept wondering if I looked awkward, if I was standing in the wrong place, if people noticed how quiet I was. I spent almost 20 minutes trying to look confident, without realizing I wasn't actually talking to anyone. Looking back, something almost makes me laugh. I was so busy worrying about what everyone thought of me, that I never stopped to ask what everyone else was thinking. And here's what I eventually realized. Almost everyone in that room was fighting the exact same battle. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect, our tendency to overestimate how much other people notice us. One classic experiment demonstrated this perfectly. Participants wore an embarrassing t-shirt into a room full of strangers, then guessed how many people had noticed it. In reality, far fewer people paid attention than they expected. Why? Because everyone else was busy thinking about themselves. They were wondering if they sounded smart enough, if they looked confident enough, if people liked them, just like I was. That realization completely changed the way I approach conversations. Instead of asking, "How do I look?" I started asking, "How can I help this person feel comfortable?" And something unexpected happened. The anxiety didn't disappear overnight, but it stopped being the center of my attention. My focus shifted away from protecting my image and toward building a real connection. Ironically, that's when conversations started feeling easier. Because people aren't usually looking for someone who's perfect. They're looking for someone who's genuinely present. Maybe confidence isn't about being the most interesting person in the room. Maybe it's about making the person in front of you feel like they're the most important one. Trick 3. Use psychological distancing. Right before a big moment, a presentation, an interview, a difficult conversation, most people's inner voice turns against them. I'm going to mess this up. I'm so nervous. Notice the pronoun. It's always I. What if the pronoun itself was part of the problem? Psychologists studying self-talk found something surprising. Switching from first-person I to your own name, third person, actually creates emotional distance between you and the panic. Instead of, I'm so nervous, try, Sarah, you've prepared for this, and you've got this. It sounds almost too simple to work, but the shift is real. The idea is that using your own name helps create psychological distance between the emotional, panicking part of your brain and the calmer, rational part sitting behind your forehead. In that small gap, you stop being the victim spiraling inside the fear, and you become the coach standing just outside of it, talking yourself through. What would it feel like to talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a close friend who was nervous? Trick 4. Reappraise your arousal. Here's a piece of advice that sounds helpful but almost never works. Just calm down. If you've ever been told that in the middle of a nervous moment, you know it does basically nothing. There's a reason for that, and it comes down to biology. Physiologically, anxiety and excitement are almost identical. Racing heart, sweaty palms, shallow breathing, that jittery buzzing energy. The body produces many of the same physiological responses for both states. The only real difference is the label your brain slaps onto the sensation. One gets tagged danger, the other gets tagged thrill. That's why calm down fails. You're essentially asking your body to jump from a high-energy state straight down to a low-energy one, almost instantly. That's a massive leap, and your nervous system usually can't make it that fast. What works far better is relabeling the same energy instead of trying to suppress it. Next time your heart is racing before something important, try saying out loud, I am so excited, not, I need to calm down. You're not lying to yourself. You're redirecting the exact same physical energy toward a label that fuels you, instead of one that shuts you down. What if the shaky, buzzing feeling you've been trying to fight was actually rocket fuel the whole time? So let's bring it all together. Confidence isn't a personality trait some people were handed at birth and others weren't. It's a skill built from small, repeatable moves. How you hold your body, where you direct your focus, how you talk to yourself, and how you interpret your own physical sensations. Next time that familiar wave of self-doubt shows up right before a big moment, remember this: you are not at the mercy of your nervous system. You are the one holding the controls. So out of these 4 shifts, which one are you going to test out first? Claiming your space, shifting the spotlight, distancing with your name, or relabeling your nerves as excitement? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to know which one lands for you. If this gave you even one new way to look at confidence, hit like and consider subscribing. There's a lot more of the psychology behind everyday behavior waiting to be unpacked, and I'd love to keep exploring it with you.